good start to the show.
This show has started.
It's just going to be my background. People are like, what?
Scooby-Doo.
They're finding out that the ghosts aren't real. So I was like, can you have Scooby-Doo and friends and one of them be a brunette and one of them be a blonde? And that didn't even occur to me. There was a brunette and a blue and a blonde. So Chat GPT's like, so you mean everyone? I'm like, fuck you.
Welcome to our dilemma, everyone. And welcome to another episode of Paranormal.
Yes.
We are your hosts.
Hello.
I am Rachel, and then we have...
Kaz, and we are not safe.
Oh,
according to my thing. A minute ago, we had Frank who told us to fuck off. So that was good.
After I literally said, what the fuck, Frank?
Yeah. And then he's like, fuck you. So that's nice. We're off to a good start.
We weren't even recording. It was great.
I
Just
know.
too busy on Chat GPT because Rachel's making a story.
It's exciting.
Oh, yes. It will be on YouTube. Don't worry, everyone. We will share it when we are done, or when I am done. Yes, I will be narrating it and everything.
I love this. I can't wait. Where am I going?
I know it's almost December. Like 1 week.
I know.
1 week.
It's very scary. I have clients who are like, well, I'll see you next year. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh, well, that's really only 8 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's not even that far away.
Yeah, I'm like,
at all.
Gross.
At all. Because literally, yeah, no, I'm not prepared. Mm-mm. And I found out that with my job, so they actually gave us an extra day off. Because lucky for me, I work in an industry that gives us time off at Christmas and pays us for it. So we get, I know, the perks of where I work. So we have to work December 22nd, 23rd, which is the Monday, Tuesday. But then we get from the 24th all the way to January 5th off. Paid. So we go back January 5th.
Beautiful.
But we go back, the employees go back on the 5th, but everybody that makes my business run doesn't come back until the 12th. So the students don't come back until the 12th of January.
So you sit around and make Chat GPT. You sit around and contact places for us to go.
I know. I
mean, you sit around and do work like you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I fucking work my ass off. Literally.
Meanwhile, it likes to hurt people.
Listen, I have no complaints about my job whatsoever. I love it. And then hopefully soon, my job title will actually change to what it's supposed to be. So fingers crossed.
I know, that's so good.
But that's a whole other different story. And not even paranormal related. So
no, I was going to say, is your place haunted or not?
It could be. Where it's located? Yeah, probably. There's really old parts of the building. Yeah. We've only been around since 67, so 1967. But you never know.
Those creepy woods all around there. I think there's lots of murders in there. So
there is. There's lots of stuff that happens, but we'll talk about some of that stuff in a few minutes because today's episode is all about it may look haunted, but it ain't.
What is it? Yeah.
There's a lot of places like that people just assume that are haunted because it looks creepy or it looks scary or it looks weird or it's got some really awful backstory. And guess what? It's not. Not even close. Not even a boo. Right?
Yeah.
We've been to a few places like that, and it is what it is. But
well, I think, like I said, people assume because something's old or because it looks scary, that must mean ghosts. But no.
And so number one on my list of things that look haunted but probably aren't are abandoned houses. Right? They just look crazy. They look creepy. They look weird. People leave their stuff behind. So you can only just let your imagination run wild as to why did these people leave their entire lives behind and vacate this house? Like, what happened? There's so many, what ifs and all of that kind of stuff when it comes to like these abandoned houses that you just never know. Maybe the family couldn't afford it and they just left everything. Maybe there was some family drama. Maybe there was an abusive relationship. Maybe they just died and they didn't have any family left, so everything was left behind. Like, so many things, but it's not haunted.
And I think because we know, like, we think, okay, house must equal people living in it. So when there aren't people in there, the brain doesn't know what to do. So it tries to put someone in there. And thus you're like, well, it must be a ghost then.
Now, could some of these abandoned houses be haunted? Sure. Every house has a story, and every person leaves an energy imprint. But is it a true haunting? Maybe, maybe not. Most of the time, it's never a true haunting. Right? But it's the creep factor. It's the abandoned. It's the peeling wallpaper, the leaky roof, the broken windows, the boarded up doors, right? It's the stuff that makes you want to break in.
Yep.
Technically, right? So I know your background just went in and out.
Yeah. I just was like, what? I was zoomed in and out of. Even I saw that. I was like, what?
But
exactly.
Yeah, abandoned houses definitely on the top of my list of places that look haunted, but they aren't.
Nice.
And even like you also have to remember too, like no electricity. It's dark. There's shadows at play because of natural light or your flashlight or all that kind of stuff. Usually,
wild animals are usually in there. Those because
squirrels are the biggest culprit.
Yeah, and they sound like something big coming down the hallway. Yeah,
you should know. You should know about the squirrels.
Fucking squirrels. Well, that leads me into my first place, which is your background today, being cemeteries and graveyards. So while there's like a few that are notoriously haunted, most of the time, a cemetery or graveyard, it's not haunted. Why the F? Let's put it this way, people. You die. And you were told you can go anywhere you want now, anywhere in space and time, be there and back. She thrives on fear, apparently. And so you can go anywhere and go see anyone and anything. Why would you go and stand at your grave? You don't give a shit.
No.
You aren't even there for that. I've never understood when people are like, graves are full of dead people. What? No, they're not. And loved ones don't come and visit another loved one's grave. They're all hanging out somewhere else.
Yeah.
No, like, unless the land or unless something horrific happened in the cemetery or graveyard, that's different. But other than that, there's no ghosts in the cemeteries. None. So it's just a place of death, I can see, but not like people dying, just a place of bodies. It's just skeletons in the ground.
Well,
that's all.
And you also have to remember too, it's like most of the time if a cemetery is haunted, it's actually not because of the people that are buried in the cemetery, though these people could be. It's usually we like
you.
I like how it's we, not I like you. How many of them are there? It's more like a caretaker of the cemetery, or for maybe what's happened on the land prior to it being a cemetery, right? Now, those people could be buried in the cemetery. That's not to say, but it's usually something along those lines. And it's, Salem Cemetery in Ajax is a good example. Like they say the cemetery is haunted by the caretaker who used to take care of it, right? He's still doing his ghostly job. Right?
Exactly.
Like, it's not the fact that the cemetery is haunted by, the people that, are buried there. Right? Like, okay. So let's now flip it. Like we've talked about it before. We visited it, Skeleton Park in Kingston. Like that's a park that's haunted because it once was a cemetery that was kind of hastily dug up, if you want to say. and they were disturbed. That's understandable, right? But
Exactly.
like a normal cemetery is usually not haunted at
No,
all. Now,
it's a beautiful place.
yeah, there are like they that's not to say that the spirits of people long past don't visit the cemetery or visit the people who are visiting the cemetery,
Exactly.
right?
That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Right? Because that does happen because you're there visiting someone.
Right.
Who's to say they don't come and visit you while you are there, right? So
Exactly. It's time to be careful. Stop telling all the secrets of the ghosts.
it's a mouthy little bugger tonight.
It really is. It's being sassy.
It is being
Exactly.
saucy.
I think again, it just comes down to people associate cemeteries with spooky, scary death and refuse to believe that it's not haunted.
Yeah.
But they're not. I I love cemeteries. I'm more afraid when I go into a cemetery or graveyard, I'm more afraid of like people, like crackhead people that go in there and homeless people. Seriously, because I've gone into some really beautiful places, like cemeteries, and it is a place of crackhead city. These two homeless people were doing meth as I went around the corner. And it was just when you go around the corner, it was just rows and rows and rows of those like tomb type things. So
The mausoleums, yeah.
right. And I was just like, abort mission because they were there like going and burning it up and stuff. And I'm like, "Ah." And it was a massive cemetery and I was by myself. Well, I was
Thank
with a
God.
friend, but we were like way off the beaten path by ourselves. So that was scary, but I was not afraid of ghosts.
Wild animals for me.
Yeah, they're in
Those
there too, but it's
fucking
usually just
squirrels.
squirrels.
Bunnies in the dark are the worst because they move so fast and they just
Oh, yeah.
rustle, and you're like, "What the hell was that?" It's a fucking bunny.
Oh, yeah.
Skunks,
They
you
like to
know.
live everywhere. When
Oh
I
my,
went to the one in San Diego, no, Key West, it's full of lizards, like iguana lizards. And they are motionless and blend in, and then they go because they like shimmy and they rattle everywhere, and you're like, it's alive. And
oh
most
my
of the
god.
graves are I don't know if again it's like that Spanish influence, but a lot of them are above ground and they're all broken. You must go quickly. Where? It told me to go left. You must go quickly. Going anywhere. Anyways,
I was to go
um,
left, I'm going out my window. So
well, I would just kind of be heading into the living room. Anyways, um, so most of the graves are all broken and kind of open. So sometimes they go into the grave or they would come out of the grave, these freaking lizard things, and they're huge. That was really scary. The amount of times I was like, oh, because they you don't see them and then they're like right next to you. Yeah, that's my
huh.
piece.
Those damn fucking lizards, squirrels, and bunnies.
Yeah,
Mother Nature's most terrifying critters. Oh my god.
we should do a whole story on not ghosts, just animals.
Yeah, we should. Things that
the
scare us in the
the
dark
bat
that aren't dead.
edition.
Oh my god. But like, so like along the lines of abandoned houses, my next one that people think are haunted, but most of the time aren't, but sometimes they are, but most of the time aren't, are just old Victorian looking houses.
Oh,
Like, you know,
yes.
those big, beautiful Victorian houses?
Mm-hmm.
What did I
It said
say?
there's more of us.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like you can tell just by looking at them that they have a story to tell, but it doesn't mean that story is that they're haunted. It's just that they've
No.
seen a lot of time and a lot of families and a lot of, you know, history and all that. And it's just fascinating to see like the craftsmanship and like the workmanship of like the ornate wood and the banisters and all that but we'll never fucking see again. They fucking put houses
I
up in
know.
less than a month now, and you wonder how they fucking withstand the fucking wind we get here, right?
They
Like,
don't.
no,
I
they don't.
think they don't.
But like, people automatically think that if you live in an old Victorian farmhouse, you are living with ghosts. And while that can be true, a lot of the times it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, they're just fascinating to research.
And like you said, they're just so beautiful. Like there's a bunch in Port Perry on like Bigelow and Cochrane. There's a bunch of like just big, beautiful, and they have the turrets and they have like the wrought iron like things around the top, and it all looks gothic, and you're
Mhm.
just like, oh, but you're right. There's nothing going on in there. Or if
Hmm.
there are, the families that live there have said nothing for all the years they've lived there.
And you also have to remember too is a lot of these old Victorian houses are passed down through generations. So it's literally the same family that's been living in them for God knows how long. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, if you've got a family that's lived in one forever, or you have a really old person living in one, you're gonna get stories, right? Town witch
Exactly.
here. Or it's haunted by so and so's, blah blah blah. Like, I automatically, for some reason, don't ask me why, and maybe because it's close to Christmas, I just thought of Home Alone, where Buzz tells Kevin about the guy outside, like the old man outside with the shovel, how he like murdered his family or whatever it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the kind of crap that gets thrown around and people automatically start thinking it's haunted.
Exactly. Because these older houses, like you said, they have generational people that live there. So they live there until they are old as dirt.
Mhm.
And old people are creepy. Like, so they're rocking around their old house and they appear creepy and they do weird things because as you get old, you just like hate people and don't want to be near them that much. So they just seem old and crotchety and
Do I really need to be old for that?
well, no, it just adds to the ambiance. And with the older houses, floors are uneven, it's creaky, like for sure.
Oh yeah, things bang. And that's another thing too, is a lot of people don't realize with like these super old homes, especially old Victorian houses with like the old wood floors, is that you can walk up the stairs and like 5 minutes later you'll hear the floor, like the wood, come pop back up,
Hmm.
right? But then again, it sounds like someone else is walking up the stairs after you've already gone up and sat down or whatever, or doing whatever up there. So that's another thing, is a lot of people don't realize is it's literally pretty explainable, because it's just the floorboards going back up. So
Exactly.
yeah.
In my old home, um, the ductwork, when
Mhm.
it cools down in sections, so it sounds like someone's walking. It's creepy. Or it's the old lady that died there. I don't know. Could also be her.
Hmm.
Anyways, well, my next one is an actual place. It seems really cool. You've probably heard of this. Okay. It's called the Screaming Heads
Mhm.
of Burke Falls. Oh, gosh. This is a 310-acre art exhibit featuring massive, eerie sculptures of heads and other figures emerging from the ground. Created by artist Peter Kamani. I can't read my own writing. I apologize. Um, this is the artist's home, and visitors are welcome, but only if the gate is open. It started in 1995. He began building a large concrete sculpture, um, and it just kind of went from there. On the property is a Midlothian, I may have said that wrong, castle, Midlothian, yeah, castle, that was built in 1912. It's really just a farmhouse, but it was,
Mhm.
thank you, it was nicknamed a castle. So when Peter bought the property in 1981, quite literally the farmhouse was falling apart. Um, and so instead of knocking it down and starting again, he started building it up. And so it created like an unusual base for his home. Um, and he lived in parts of it as he built it up. So now it looks like this kind of really cool bizarre castle. Not all of it is livable, I don't think, but he does live in some of it. There's over 100 screaming head statues now. It looks like a fort with like four big towers. We got Noah again. We got Noah last time. And although it looks incredibly creepy and people are like weirded out by the fact that there's just these weird hands and the faces coming out of the ground, it is not haunted at all. But somewhere I would really love to go. And I love that he opens up his property to people to come. And there's pictures of people just like having picnics by these faces that are like coming out of the ground.
They're really weird. Like,
yeah.
They're very expressive in the same type of expression, but it's like, you wonder why he would make something like what kind of made him want to do that, right?
And these are not small. They are
they're huge,
like 100 feet. He has to get cranes to lift them to stand them up.
Yeah.
But it's really neat. Like, I am fascinated by things like that, like the Winchester Mystery House. This guy, like when people do obscurely fucked up things, I love that. That's what I aspire to be, to have lots of money and just become an eccentric old weirdo that people are like, oh, look, crazy witch lady, and I've got some fucked up home and it becomes a museum. It's what I want to be when I grow up.
Oh Lord, that's amazing. But we should definitely go. Maybe we should get him on the podcast.
We should,
right?
I kind of get like, what's up?
Yeah. Or maybe we could do a podcast there. Ooh.
I was literally just thinking the same thing.
With the big head in the fucking background.
It'd be pretty neat. We could ask him. I don't know how old he is now. Does he have red hair?
How am I supposed to know? I don't even know.
Spirit Took has asked me. The ghosts are like, does he have red hair? Because if he does, forget it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Oh, it's your turn. I was about to do another one.
Well, you could if you want, but I'll go. So another one that I had on my list was old school houses. Right? So there are plenty of old school houses. And we were just talking about this when we first started, even though my schoolhouse isn't that old. But a lot of the time, because of how old they are and how, like, you have to remember, like, boys and girls had different entrances and all that kind of stuff, that people think that they're haunted. By who? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to go haunt my elementary school. Like, I got better places to be. Like,
exactly.
Right now, I could understand maybe if there was something that was associated with the land, or maybe there was a tragedy in the school. Okay, maybe at that point, but I don't know. Now, I'm talking about like old school houses. Now, I know we have a school in our area. We have a few of them, especially private schools that are known to be haunted. I'm not going to say their names, just because it is an active school. I don't want to scare any of the kids. They shouldn't be listening to this anyways, but anyway.
Exactly. Go to bed.
Unless you're like my kid who likes to watch horror movies in the dark at 13. Who cares, right? Whatever. He grew up with it. It's been ingrained in him since his conception.
Exactly.
What did that
say? Since his conception? This is a PG rated fucking podcast.
Yeah, that drops a bunch of F-bombs. Anyways, but
exactly. Now we know what gets you guys off and in the mood. Great. Oh my God. It said demonstrate. Please don't.
I'm not demonstrating anything.
I can't wash my eyeballs out.
Too old for this shit. Anyways, but yeah. Like,
oh my God.
Like old school houses. Definitely more than likely not haunted. Looks haunted, but not. Some of them are, but not all of them. So like even the schoolhouse at Scugog Shores Museum Village, it's haunted, but it's not haunted by like anything I think related to it being a schoolhouse. I think it's haunted because there's an artifacts, because they store their stuff in the basement, and that's what's causing the haunting. It has nothing to do with the school. If they remove the artifact that has the attachment, it would probably cease. Just
Exactly.
saying, right?
Exactly.
I just don't know very many other haunted schoolhouses, right? So,
well, and again, like you said, when I die, the last thing on my mind is go back and haunt the school that you went to. Like, no, unless something really traumatic happened that encapsulates that energy and those children there,
yeah,
no one's going back to their school. The faster we can get out of school, the better. We're not spending our afterlife there.
yeah.
No.
Like
No.
it's
I mean, maybe residual energy of like the collective, but very unusual. I will never forget. We went to a place and there's this old, it's just an old building that's set up like a schoolhouse.
yeah.
And someone who was on our team was instantly like, oh my God, I can hear children and I feel this like really strict mistress and blah, 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 blah. And both myself and Ryan are like, I don't feel anything in this building. And then afterwards, we found out it was never even a schoolhouse. It's just set up that way as an exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a barn or something. So that also, people again, it's, oh, well, okay. There's more than one of us. There's a group of us. Okay, wait your turn. First and last name, ghosts. First
Well, we
and
know
last
there's Frank
names.
and Reginald.
Yeah. Eleanor, Noah, Regina. We've had a lot of names. Anyways, yes. Well, now, speaking of schoolhouses, my next one is the University of Toronto Scarborough campus Bladen Wing. So this was named after the former dean, Vincent W. Bladen. The central hub that contained classrooms, study spaces, the UTSC bookstore, and the Bladen Wing Lounge. I hope I'm saying that right. Bladen, doesn't matter. Anyways, it was previously known as the Recreation Wing. It was completed in 1973 and originally housed more athletic and fine arts facilities. There's an underground corridor called the Hall of Excellence that connects it to the Humanities Wing.
They had to make it underground. The Hall of Excellence is underground.
Exactly. I don't know. Oh, it says unlikely. Okay. So it's because of that underground. Oh, sorry. So the reason why it was rumored to be haunted, it's often used for movies due to its ominous look, especially for like prisons and military bases and scary scenes, due to its distinctive brutalist architecture. It looks like a concrete fortress, which creates a creepy and intimidating vibe. There is absolutely no history of hauntings. There's no deaths. There's nothing to do with the land. Absolutely nothing. It's just urban rumors because of its design. There was a story that it was originally supposed to be a prison. Oh, I thought you said you are pathetic. This is you are empathetic. Okay, thanks. Um, but it was always meant to just be the university. It was never meant to be anything other than that. So it's just, again, because it looks like it doesn't look bright and airy. Like it's actually a pretty ugly looking building. But there's absolutely nothing that says any hauntings.
It's a boring building.
Nice try, guys. You got to go to class and you got to do your stuff.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious. Well, speaking of boring buildings, I think
Yes.
last on my like list of like places that appear to be haunted but aren't, places where that have had serious traumatic events, like a crime, like murder or something like that. Like just because something has happened there, it doesn't necessarily mean that the place is haunted. This goes for buildings and houses, parks, paths. I don't know, behind the 7-Eleven, like, it's just because something traumatic has happened there doesn't mean that it's now haunted, or that
Right.
whatever or whomever, saw the tragedy and ended up dying because of it doesn't mean that they're stuck there in that spot, or they're lingering there, or they've got unfinished business that they must finish before they cross out. Like, a lot of that is movie stuff, but anyways, doesn't mean that it's haunted. Oh no.
I am death.
As I'm talking about people murdering
Yeah.
each other. Oh
That's
my
a
god.
weird sentence. I am death. Okay, whatever.
Sure. I call him the Grim Reaper, but whatever. But yes, again, just like anything, we leave energy imprints. So something very traumatic can leave an energy imprint. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a haunting. It's an energy imprint. People might be able to feel it, right? They may be able to feel like the emotions, or those emotions that they have can be brought on by like feelings of anxiety or stress or any of that kind of stuff. But that doesn't mean that that's a spirit doing that, right? Or a ghost. So there's lots of places where people are like, oh, this person was murdered here, it must be haunted. And it's like,
Yep.
just saying, just because the place is haunted by someone who was murdered doesn't mean they were murdered there. Right.
Right.
But
or like when a body washes up on the shore, doesn't mean that shore is now haunted.
Yeah. Well, the lake would be a fucking cesspool of ghosts at this
Exactly.
point. What did that say?
Grandmother.
Oh.
What else?
Anyways. So yeah. But
Lovely.
yeah, that's pretty much it for that.
Well, speaking of water, that brings me to my next one.
I'm glad I'm giving you segues right into
I know, it's
everything.
beautiful. We fall into place there. So this is the Silver Islet Mine. Oh, we live on.
Oh.
That's beautiful. Could you not interrupt me, please? This is located on a small island in Lake Superior at the mouth of Thunder Bay on the Ontario side of Lake Superior. It was discovered in 1868. The mine was a challenging operation that extended far below the lake's surface. It produced millions of dollars in silver during its 16 years in operation. In 1884, the mine's pumps lost power when a crucial coal shipment failed to arrive in time for winter. The pumps could no longer keep the lake water out, and the entire mine flooded. The miners had lots of prior knowledge that the shipment was late, and that and they were all safely evacuated before the mine shafts was submerged. Operations were halted in an orderly fashion. There was understanding they would never. Oh, I had a long life. It was never going to be resumed again, but there were absolutely no losses of lives. No one died, no one drowned, no one was trapped in the mine, absolutely nothing. So for over 136 years, it has been submerged, and you can fly and boat over the area and you can see the submerged mine. There's actual Google pictures of it. It is creepy as fuck, which is probably why people are like, oh my God. So it's definitely very, very eerie, but there is absolutely nothing suggesting it's haunted. No one died. There was no one there when it finally flooded because they had all evacuated and left. So it's not haunted. It's just creepy. Moving on. I'll just finish
I was
that
gonna
off.
say, I don't really got much, because I did have cemeteries on my list, but I'll let you talk about it.
So then the next one I have, this is a cool one. It's called the Half House. It's located at 54 and a half St. Patrick's Street in Toronto. It is not a spite house, nor a trick or Photoshop. This is a legit home that was plagued with zoning issues. It is the only lone home on the street. It dates back to the Toronto slums, which were in the late 19th century. So built between 1890 and 1893. This bay and gable relic was once one of 6 identically intertwined homes. That was what was known as Doomer Street, or sorry, Doomer Street at the time. I don't know if it's Doomer or Dummer. I don't know. I'm going to say Doomer, not Dummer
You
Street.
never know.
As time passed, the street names all changed, and a sketchy land holdings company began buying up all of the property throughout the neighborhood in the middle of the 20th century. Eventually, the owners of that company split company and literally had to split the homes in half. Each of the row houses were torn down, but not as entire units. So one half would be torn down by one part of the company, and the other part would be torn down by the other part. Each of the town homes were torn down at an excruciating slow pace until the only one left was 54 and a half. In a miraculous feat, a demolition crew managed to tear down 54 and a half's neighbor, so literally the other half of the building, with such precision as to not disturb any of the original facade on the remaining building. As of 2012, the house was purchased by Albert Zikovic, but as of 2013, it sits vacant. So it is this literally half of a townhouse that looks creepy as fuck in a neighborhood that just doesn't belong. Me too. I'm in my 20s. So it looks incredibly creepy and haunted, but it is not. There is absolutely nothing on this property. That no one's died, no one's been hurt. There's no weird ill will, nothing curse, nothing going on. None of the previous owners ever indicated there were any hauntings. It's all stupidness. I have one more actual place, and then
I do too. I just realized.
fictional place.
I do too.
Oh,
I have one. Well,
go.
I don't have a place. There's plenty of places like this, and we did a whole episode on them. But ghost towns.
I was gonna do ghost towns and in the shadows. But there were so many.
I know there are
Yeah.
tons. And ghost towns are very cool. And could they be haunted? Sure. But who's there to know? Because they're a ghost town for a reason. Nobody lives there anymore. They're just derelict buildings that have been abandoned for many years that are literally returning to the earth, as pretty much, and Mother Nature is literally taking them over. So really, they may look creepy and scary, and again, they may have an energy, but they're not haunted. Well, not most of them. Some of them are, but not most of them. So that's
and again, I think it's just because you suddenly see these abandoned homes and your brain's like, people should be in them. And then you think, I think I saw a person in them. And then it just escalates from there.
And then, or your brain is just like, why is this abandoned? Why did they leave this town? Why did the whole town just up and leave? What happened? Where did they go? Why is their bed still here? Did they do this? Did they leave their like, right? So your brain all of these like scenarios and questions, and then you're making things up, right? And the more and that's another thing too, is that we should say is that telephone tag is still a thing, and people will make stories and they will share them, and they just eventually
Do you mean broken telephone?
Yeah, telephone tag. That's what it's called. That's what it was called here when I was younger. Telephone tag, right? My mom jokes that, they should play telephone tag at my grandma's retirement home because the game would be over after the first person. But I
don't know. I think they'd come up with some wacky stuff.
But that's exactly what it is. Somebody says one thing and then it gets blown into a bigger bigger story, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes its own entity pretty much, right? Because now you're given whatever this is, whatever, energy, power. But, like I always say, in every story, there is some truth, right? It's just finding out what that truth is, right? Like, could the truth be that the town was abandoned because there was a natural disaster? Yeah, maybe, was an earthquake or something, not, the demon spawn rising from the creek to, take their children, right? Like, it's just
exactly. I'd like to go to wicked. I'd like to go to a ghost town or two. But again, I'm more afraid of like homeless people that are living in the buildings now than I am of any ghosts.
Yeah.
Quote, ghosts. That would be what I'm afraid of. All right, my next one's a good one. So if you grew up in Canada from sort of mid 60s onwards, don't leave. I have nowhere to go. This is where I live. Around the end of winter, beginning of spring, definitely close to summer, there's a commercial that would come on, and as kids, you'd be excited to hear it, and as adults, you'd be like, oh, fuck. And it goes something like this. There's a place I know in Ontario where the sea lions kiss on the stirring of.
It's amazing shows and Friendship Cove. Everyone
loves Maryland. Okay. That trauma will never fucking leave us.
The worst part is I could probably finish that whole fucking jingle. Guess what? Nobody loves Marineland anymore.
No. So, Marineland in Niagara Falls, Canada, opened in 1961 and ran until 2024. Founded by John Holler, a Slovenian immigrant. It started with one tank and built the major attraction from there until he died in 2018, and then his wife took it over. The marine exhibits included dolphins, sea lions, whales, walruses, and orcas. They would have
beluga. Well, those are whales.
I'm drowning.
I was gonna say the ghosts of the whales.
The whales are getting me. So there would be performances daily by the staff and the animals. There were also land animals such as bears, deers, elk, and buffalo. And there were also rides like roller coasters and teacups and all that other shit.
I got pictures of me on the little ladybug roller coaster.
I'm trying to think, Jessica, I'm trying to think if I ever went. I think we did go to Marineland, but we hadn't moved to Canada yet. I think we came for vacation and we went to Marineland.
Vacation.
And
been attacked by fucking deer who want that fucking corn.
But I don't remember the deer.
Oh, I do.
But I'm pretty sure we went, and we went on a couple of roller coasters and saw some whales, and heard his voice. And then my great aunt who was with us was mad because we should have gone to Wonderland or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever. One and only time I went, never had to go back. So in 1963, this is hilarious, a trained sea lion named Jeff escaped and made it all the way to the Niagara River and went over the falls. He was just like, I'm out. Oh, it's fucking
freedom, sweet freedom, right back into fucking
Canada. My God. So 3 days later, he was captured. He was suntanning on the beach with some kid.
He was living the life.
He was in Queenston. I don't even know where Queenston is.
New York.
Okay.
Queenston,
so he was captured and taken back. Over the years, there have been insane amounts of animal neglect and abuse controversy. In 1977, 6 bottlenose dolphins were seized due to their illegal obtainment off the Gulf of Mexico. So basically, they were just snuck out of the ocean and
They were kidnapped.
stolen.
They were dolphin napped.
Exactly. In 2011, SeaWorld sued Marineland due to their mistreatment of Ikeka, which was a female orca who they had loaned Marineland for breeding. They claimed that she had emotional and being emotionally and mentally abused.
How do you
I don't know
determine
how
that
they know that,
in
but I
an
guess she
orca?
just was like, oh, blah, 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 sad, blah, blah, blah." I don't know. But
Just
anyways,
because
they won.
or was it a dorsal fin kind of goes?
I guess. I don't know, but they did win against Marineland. 2012, a former park manager reported John Holler shot a deer through the windpipe and left it there to suffer, choking on its own blood. What a piece of shit. In 2013, another person reported John shot two Labrador retrievers who got into the park from the neighbor's property. They were clearly the neighbor, like, belonged to someone because they had collars, and he just like shot them. After many years of ill, sick, and dying animals, and like repeated visits from different organizations to get these fucking poor animals done, they ended up closing down in 2024 for good. So reports of like the hallways being haunted, feeling of despair, creepiness, eerie, especially in and around the animal tanks. Disembodied voices were heard when no humans around, especially around the office area. But there is absolutely no deaths, like human deaths, have been reported on the property at all. It's more than likely just people feel sadness from all of the abuse that was happening. Now, the land itself is considered, oh, I don't even want to say it, Borden Osani. I'm so sorry, I butchered that. The Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. I'm so sorry, I totally butchered their name. But it's not considered to be like sacred land. It was not burial land. There's no curse on the land. Like, it's nothing along those lines. The First Nation people have asked, like, petitioned the government to get the land back as their own, but there's nothing like it's not like, oh, they dug up remains to put anything there. It was not like that before. It's more probably that just people feel that emotional distress of being overwhelmed from the animal's death.
It's just terrifying. It's not even ghost related. It's just fucking they were just in the news
the
too.
The theme song is what will haunt you the most. It's all over not TikTok, Instagram, whatever it's called. Because it's just literally been abandoned.
Yeah.
So now it looks like all spooky.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, ooh, spooky, but it's not. It's just a fucking not used roller coaster.
It's abandoned now. It's
like that's all it is.
It's neglected. I shouldn't even say abandoned. It's neglected. The whole fucking
they
everything
just
was
walked
neglected.
Away. Exactly. The emotional and mental stress this roller coaster endured. Listen, I'm not laughing at the animals at all because it was horrific what happened, but
she's coming.
Oh,
as my kids were,
that fucking whale's coming for me. She's like, oh, that's what happened. She was
just walked into the room and heard she's coming, and he turned around and walked right back out.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked he didn't come running in full blast.
She's like, oh,
especially from that picture before.
Oh my god.
So then my last thing is along the same lines of what we were talking about before, and that's morgues and funeral homes. Again, especially funeral homes. People are like, oh my god, it's so haunted. I'm like, why is it haunted? There's no deaths there. Obviously, again, if something horrific happened in the building or in the land, okay, that's fine. But just it being a morgue or a funeral home, there's absolutely nothing
Mm.
that would indicate, like, again, if you die, what are you standing next to your body in the morgue being like, this shit and helpless? No. You're off elsewhere now. You're flying around the dimensions. You're not standing in a morgue or a funeral home. You might, maybe, on the day of your funeral, go and see who's there. I went to a funeral, and the woman whose funeral it was, she came right up to me, and she was so frantic because there were so many people they had to stand. We're following you. I don't think so. And so she came up to me, she's like, "Oh my God, Cass, this is ridiculous." Like, but she was such an organizer and a planner that to know that people were standing would in her life would drive her crazy. So it didn't surprise me that in her death, she was still trying to like move things around and make sure everything was good.
But the thing was, she wasn't haunting the darn place.
No, she's not. She left the moment, like, yeah, she was just there because it was her funeral, but she was not there. She's not still there.
No,
That's for sure.
no.
But that's
And
the only time I could really think that a spirit would maybe be there.
so if people don't follow the Paranormal Seekers, a few years ago, we actually went to the home from the Discovery Plus show. We bought a funeral home. We actually went
Yeah.
to that location and investigated it, and it is a former funeral home. But what it is that people don't remember is that it wasn't just built as a funeral home. Its original purpose was a private family home.
Mhm.
Then, as generations went through, it became, one family purchased it and turned it into a funeral home. And of course, you have to remember that also you're talking about like the early life of death care, the death care industry. So early funeral homes, right? They weren't just the buildings like we see now where it's like it's a building with some rooms. Like 9 times out of 10, people still lived in these homes, like on the upper levels, private residence, right? And then they did the business downstairs. That is why this funeral home, which has been reverted back to a private home, is why it was haunted, is because there was some incidents when in the private living areas, like the quarters, that made I guess ghosts. But why some people were sticking around, and why some energies had never left. And it had nothing to do with the people who died that were, embalmed there or all that. And I'm about to lose power. Holy shit, I need my fucking thing.
Oh, I'm like, what? Well, there's also W.M. Spears Funeral Home, which also is reported to be haunted because of history prior to it being a funeral home as well. But yes, these places, if they have some sort of history to them, that's different. But what we're saying is just because it is a funeral home or a morgue does not then mean it comes with ghosts. Because
No.
again, no one's dying in these places. There's no like Doris again. Doris has come through. Doris, tell us your last name, please.
Yeah, Doris.
But yeah, there's no Dresden and W.M. Spears funeral homes were the two that came up as being haunted. But other than that, they're creepy, sure. And I mean, when you see where the bodies are, the slabs where the bodies might be and stuff, even in Wildwood where they have the embalming table, that is probably just a prop. It's still, that makes you think a bit like, ooh, because then you think of death and then you think of these things, but there's no ghosts.
Nothing. There's ghosts
These people are
That's
already dead. Their spirits have left their bodies. So don't, and again, looks can always be deceiving, as we were saying. So don't just assume because you walk into a building and it's got all this like creepy stuff.
Or
That
that
just,
you feel it.
yeah, that just makes you think that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not.
Sorry, not sorry. Haunted, not
Mhm.
haunted. But,
Exactly.
but that's our list of not haunted, but looks haunted, but it's not places. So, yes, if you've got a place that you think looks haunted, but it's not, we'd love to know about it. Share your stories or add to what we've got or
Yeah.
what we've talked about. And yeah, you can send them to us at paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. So PAREHNORMAL podcast@gmail.com. Or you can post it on Facebook or Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Whatever.
There's a place I know
Oh,
in Ontario.
that's gonna give me fucking
Ah,
nightmares. That's what you
exactly.
know what? That
That's
could
the
be a good
scariest thing.
podcast topic in the new year. Fucking nightmares.
Oh, yes. Childhood ones.
Yeah. Terrifying ones. I don't even know. But yeah, anyways. So that's it for this week's episode. Next week, we start our Christmas episodes. We got 2 Christmas episodes.
Sweet. Sorry,
I
it
know.
just said, you understand me.
Oh, yes, we do. But yeah, so we're going to be into our Christmas episodes, and then we are going on our own Christmas vacation because it's Christmas and we need a break again. Because as I was looking, what did it just say?
It said, and I will follow you.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
We're not going anywhere, really. At least
Exactly.
I'm not
My
going anywhere, but
Lord.
we're just gonna be taking some time off for the holidays. And yeah, because when I was looking at my stuff earlier, we've been recording since August with no breaks. So
Yeah.
it's a
Mama needs some time off.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. But
In the sunshine.
I'm looking forward to next week's topic because I got a really good few to talk about. I'm really super excited. Because the one made me laugh so fucking hard. Well, they all did, but yeah, but the one really made me laugh. I got some good stuff.
Sweet.
So you have to stay tuned for next week's Christmas episode. Hey, should we like get like festive and wear like festive stuff? Like an ugly sweater or Santa hat or something?
We could totally do that.
Yeah. And then you know what we should do for our last episode? We should do like pajamas.
As opposed to what I'm wearing right now.
I was gonna say, I think we're almost
like,
pretty much. Well,
yeah.
I'm half in my pajamas.
Exactly. Me too. You're lucky I'm not all like from
Listen, I took the
the
time to blow
Navy.
dry my hair today, everyone. So instead of leaving it wet.
This I did not because I got home and had to sort of do stuff and then the podcast. So no. Whatever. Deal with it.
Oh well.
Boom.
But anyways, have a great week. Enjoy this last week of November because it is almost December.
Holy shit.
That's literally the title of one of our podcasts. But anyways, alrighty. Have a great week, everyone, and we will talk.
Peace.
Bye.